I now give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank Special Representative Carlos Ruiz-Masceur, the representative of the High Contracting Party of the Peace Agreement, Mr. Tovar, as well as Mr. Valbuena for the briefings. I also welcome the presence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Colombia, Mr. Murillo. Mr. President, we are particularly concerned and condemned recent violence against civilians in the Catatumbo region involving clashes between armed groups that resulted in many casualties and reported mass displacement. We express our full support to the Colombian government and join calls for the immediate de-escalation of the situation with the protection of civilians as the ultimate goal. Mr. President, Greece reiterates its full support to the peace process in Colombia, anchored in the 2016 peace agreement. We commend the Colombian government's total peace agenda, which we consider complementary to the peace agreement, as well as the rapid response plan recently presented by the Colombian government. We acknowledge that the peace process in Colombia seeks to address the root causes of the conflict and the historic injustices. In this respect, we welcome the progress on rural reform, including land restitution to the victim of the conflict, and encourage a continuation of efforts towards achieving the goals set in the 2016 peace agreement. It is noteworthy that rural reform in Colombia incorporates environmental considerations as emphasized during the UN Framework Convention on Biodiversity, COP16, that took place in Cali in October 2024. Rural reform is also linked to the reintegration of ex-combatants, providing them with livelihoods and housing, and enabling their access to education and healthcare services. This integrated approach of land distributions and integrations can contribute significantly to reducing violence and insecurity in rural areas, allowing for increased state presence. At the same time, accelerating the implementation of the ethnic chapter of the peace agreement is crucial to rectify injustices faced by indigenous people and Afro-Colombian population, thus ensuring their empowerment and active participation in public life. We cannot ignore that these populations are particularly affected by child recruitment and use, as well as conflict-related sexual violences. These practices are utterly unacceptable, and the safety and security of children and women must be prioritized. In this respect, we welcome Colombia's first National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security, launched in November 2024, and we are confident that it will complement effectively the gender provisions of the peace agreement. Moreover, we appreciate the recent visit of the Security Council's Working Group on Children and Armed Conflict to Colombia, which highlights the government's commitment to implementing the CAC agenda. Similarly, the protection of social leaders and human rights defenders from attacks remains an absolute imperative. Greece also recognizes the innovative role of transitional justice in Colombia's peace process and urges a special jurisdiction for peace and the government to take all necessary measures for the swift issuance and successful implementation of the restorative sentences respectively. Mr. President, in conclusion, Greece reiterates its unwavering support to the UN verification mission in Colombia and to the Special Representative of the Secretary General, and acknowledges their invaluable contributions to promoting the effective implementation of the peace agreement. On our part, we will remain committed to a Colombian-led and Colombian-owned peace process with the ultimate goal of achieving justice for the victims and survivors of the conflict. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Greece for the statement.